Hey everybody, it's Kairos. Do you frequently feel like you have no pressure on the map, like your opponent has crazy tempo and is always beating you to the punch? Today we're going to break down some common mistakes that are costing you map pressure in your solo queue games. I'll also talk about how you can fix these issues to improve your tempo. I created a video a while back that defines tempo, and you can go ahead and check that out here if you haven't seen it. And if you enjoy this video, please consider subscribing and hit the bell to get notified whenever I make new content. For now, let's talk about the 4 common tempo killers. The first super common way players lose tempo is by staying on the map too long. The 2 scenarios where you may be on the map but have minimal pressure is when you're sitting on too much gold or when you are low on health or mana. By storing up too much gold in your pockets, you're delaying power spikes because you haven't converted your gold lead into a power advantage that comes from items. It doesn't matter if you're 2 kills up on your opponent, if they found an opportunity to reset and spin their gold while you're still on starter items, they will be stronger than you and exert more pressure. Missing reset timers is a really good way to throw your lead and let the opponent back into the game. Situationally, it's sometimes okay to stay out on the map a bit longer though. For example, if you see a nearby laner who needs protection while they crash a wave, or if you're 150 gold short of a full item. But when you're past 1k gold in your pocket, you should start thinking through when and how you'll reset. Staying too long on the map with low health or mana is a similar pitfall. You may be stronger than your opponent in terms of level or stats, but with limited resources, you'll be vulnerable to ganks or roams and pretty much useless in any team fight. At this point, the only real purpose you can serve your team is acting as juicy bait to dangle in front of the enemies and see if they go for it. But if you're not baiting, you'd be just as useful to your team if you were dead or in base. Staying on the map without resources can even bait your team into looking for plays when they see you nearby. We all know that most teammates don't check health and mana before diving in full steam ahead. Resetting is an easy way to make sure that they don't run it down while expecting your help. To solve this issue and maintain map pressure, you have to identify good opportunities for resets. Ideally, you want to reset at a time when your lane opponent has limited ability to punish you or impact the map. As a laner, that might be setting up a slow push to make sure they don't get a free roam when you back. It could also simply be matching your lane opponent's back timer because you know that they won't be out on the map making plays. As a jungler, you'll want to reset when you know the enemy jungler doesn't have any plays available to them at that moment. Maybe after they show on a ward or when your laners have reset also, those could be good opportunities. So you'll want to look for these windows to reset, and then you'll be able to maintain steady map pressure instead of giving up tempo by being weak and not having items or mana or other resources to work with. Blundering objective play is the second frequent tempo killer. And I can't tell you how many times I've seen players show up to Dragon 15 seconds after it spawned only to get picked, or they get there 30 seconds early only to watch the other team take the dragon when it was never even contestable in the first place. By arriving late to an objective, you allow the enemy team to set up vision control, which is a form of map pressure. From there, you have to proceed carefully to clear vision and risk getting picked in the process. With vision control, they're able to start the objective and potentially burn it down before you even know what happened. The other mistake is to invest time into an uncontestable objective. Too many times people are unwilling to give up a second Drake, even though it's clearly not going to go in their favor. They may lack vision control, key items, or major cooldowns, but still, they gather around to donate 15 control awards to the pit and try for a miracle steal with a Yuumi Q. Then they immediately get engaged on when it fails. There are times when you do have to go for the hero play and try to steal Baron, Soul Point, or Elder, but most of the time, gathering around to watch an enemy secure a Rift Herald or a second dragon will destroy any tempo that you might have had. The solution to this tempo killer is decisiveness. You need to decide a minute and a half before an objective, are we contesting? If yes, then find a reset and establish vision control 20 to 30 seconds before it spawns. Now your team is the one with the map pressure, and the enemy team has to face check into you. If you decide not to contest, focus on accomplishing things elsewhere on the map. In the early to mid game, you might be able to trade a Drake for a Herald or vice versa. You also can look for a play on the opposite side of the map while they commit several members to the objective. If there's no cross-map objective, look for a gank or a dive. If there's no gank, counter jungle. If there's no counter jungling, get deep vision while you know they're all on dragon. There are plenty of ways to redeem small benefits across the map instead of just watching helplessly as the enemy opens up their lead. Decisiveness will make sure you're able to proactively generate tempo, or at least limit the advantage that the enemy team's able to gain from the objective play. The third thing ruining your tempo is poor execution on your ganks and roams. And this is a two-sided point. You can either invest time into a low probability play or fail to invest time into high probability plays. Both are equally killing your tempo. We've all been found guilty of forcing low probability plays. That might be ganking a high mobility target when we have no CC, or turret diving after our laner just used their only CC ability. Forcing suboptimal plays is lethal to your tempo. See what I did there? It often results in us dying, our teammate dying, a ruined lane state, wasted summoner spells, leached XP, a devastating counter gank, or at the very least, a waste of our precious time, which we could be using to get more gold and XP elsewhere. The other mistake is a failure to recognize high probability gank opportunities. For example, you may see an enemy laner building a slow push, which they'll need to crash into your mid laner's turret. Instead of going straight there, you farm 2 camps and then look for the gank. By this point, you've missed the opportunity to punish them when they were pushing. They've likely already reset, dove and killed your teammate, or looked for a roam opportunity, and you completely missed the window. These types of windows come up all the time. In that example, the window was a favorable lane state developing, but it can take on many different forms. It could be a summoner spell advantage, a major item spike, a teammate's cooldown, or a key ability. To fail to use these opportunities to your advantage is to lose out on map pressure. It's just like an early skirmish team comp failing to secure kills against a full scaling team. Failure to punish is giving the enemy team a free pass. The cure for these tempo killers isn't as simple as the others. Ultimately, you'll just need to improve map awareness to categorize the variance of a gank or roam opportunities. You can use F keys to look at the lanes, time summoner spells, and tab frequently to look at ult CDs and item spikes. You'll never be able to act on this information until you've started seeking it out, processing it, and incorporating it into your decision making. The player who's able to avoid low probability plays and find more high probability plays will always find a way to generate pressure. The fourth and final tempo killer is missing cross-map opportunities. Most low elo players will watch the enemy team 4-man their bot lane, then just type FF at 15 and continue with whatever they were doing. The enemy team gets to destroy your bot lane, secure the dragon, then reset and come back out on the map with items, and you've done nothing to punish them for that. Similar to the idea of tip number 2 and blundering objectives, it's crucial to decide whether or not you can contest a cross-map play and then respond accordingly. To maintain tempo, your first response should be to look at what you can accomplish on the side of the map that you are on. You can call your jungler to come up and set up a dive, steal jungle camps, go secure vision while you know the enemy jungler's whereabouts, or crash a wave for plates and get a solid reset. Any of these options will enable you to create tempo on your half of the map when they invest resources into the opposite side. By not reacting, you're enabling the other team to win both sides of the map for free. To summarize, these are the best ways to build tempo. Value your reset timers, be decisive in your objective setup, seek out efficient gank opportunities, and don't miss cross-map opportunities. If you implement these into your gameplay, you'll definitely start to see major differences in the amount of pressure you exert. I hope this video was helpful and taught you something new. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.